You are here. That is enough. Whatever you carried into today, set it on the floor beside the bed. Whatever you carried into the last hour, set that down too. The room you are about to enter does not need any of it. There is a hallway inside you tonight. Long, cool, soft underfoot. At the far end of it, a great room. And lining the walls of that room, 50 doors. Behind each door, a different version of you. Some of them have already done what you are still trying to do. Some have already become who you are slowly becoming. Some are waiting for you, and have been waiting longer than you know. Tonight, you will meet one of them. Before you walk down the hallway, breathe in slowly. Out slowly. Again. In slowly. Out slowly. This practice asks you to believe nothing. Whoever you understand to be in this room with you. God. The saints. Your ancestors. Your higher self. Your future self. Your unconscious mind. The universe. The part of your brain that imagines. Or simply you, talking to yourself. They are welcome here. The mechanism is yours to choose. The practice is the same. You may close your eyes now if they are not already closed. You may set your screen face down if it is not already down. The room does not need light. The room does not need anyone watching. It only needs you. The hallway is real enough now to walk. Each step, unhurried. Each breath, a little slower than the last. The walls of the hallway are warm to the touch. The floor is soft. Dark stone, polished wood. You may choose, but it is not important. The ceiling is high, and arches softly upward. At the end of the hallway, the great room opens. You step inside. Around you, 50 doors. You do not need to count them. You do not need to find them all. On some nights, you will only see a few. On some nights, you will see them all at once. On some nights, only one will be lit. Tonight, one of them is calling. Let the pull come to you. Do not search for it. You are drawn to a door. This door is on the left side of the room. High up, where the morning light would enter if morning could reach this place. The light beneath it is thin and golden. Not like the light of noon. Light like the moment when night decides to stop arguing with the world and let go. There is no symbol on the door. No name carved into it. No instructions. But you know. You know what this door is. This is the door of the self who wakes up before sunrise. You may feel something rise as you read those words. For some of you, relief. For some, resistance. For some, both at once. You may think about the alarm. The thought of waking before the world is awake. The guilt about the mornings when you failed to rise. The fantasy of it. The weight of the word discipline. All of it mixed together. You do not have to do anything with it. You only have to walk through this door. The self on the other side will do the rest. Behind this door is the version of you who learned a different kind of waking. Not from force. Not from the fist coming down on flesh in the dark. Not from the voice saying you should. Not from the weight of productivity or the promise of more accomplished days. From kindness. You may take your hand to the door now. The wood is warm. The handle turns easily. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you open it. Step through. The room beyond the door is neither dark nor bright. It is something else. The color of the world when it is still the world's own time. Before anyone needs anything from it. The color of becoming. There is a single chair by a window. The window opens onto nothing you can quite see. Not the inside of a room. Not the outside of a place. Just the sense of vast quiet and the suggestion of first light. There is a small table. On it, a cup. Steam rising from it, though it has been sitting there long enough that the warmth should have left. It has not left. In the chair, the version of you waiting. They are not sitting urgently. Not leaning forward to begin the day. Simply sitting. Watching the light that is not quite light. Breathing the air that is not quite cold. You sit down across from them, in the chair that has appeared for you. Witness them first. That is the rule of every room in the council. Before words. Before questions. Before anything at all. Witness them. Notice how they are sitting. Not rigid. Not performing readiness. Simply at rest in the body they have. Their spine touches the back of the chair with the kind of ease that comes from not bracing against the day. Notice their breathing. Slow. Steady. The kind of breath you breathe when there is nowhere else you have to be. Not forced. Not deepened on purpose. Just the breath that comes when the body knows it is safe. Notice their eyes. They are open, but not searching. They are looking at the light that is not light. At the quiet that fills the window like water. When they turn their gaze to you, there is no evaluation in it. They are simply pleased that you came. Notice their hands. Resting on the arms of the chair. Open. Not grasping at the cup, not reaching for the day, not gesturing in explanation. Just resting. Notice their face. Calm. But not the calm of someone performing peace. Real calm. The kind that comes after the body has learned, finally, that it does not have to fight the morning into existence. Notice that they are in no hurry to speak. They do not rush toward explaining this to you. They are content to sit here, in this room before sunrise, and let you see what it looks like when a person learns to wake as a kindness. Now you may breathe with them. In, slowly. Out, slowly. In, slowly. Out, slowly. The room is patient. You are not late. You did not arrive too early. You are here at the exact moment you were supposed to arrive. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, they will speak. I want to start by saying something clearly. This is not about discipline. This is not about forcing your body into shape. This is not about the measure of your worth being the number of hours you fill before other people wake up. This is about a gift you give to yourself. It took me years to learn the difference. I spent a long time trying to wake before sunrise the way you might try to lift something heavy. Gritting my teeth against sleep. Racing against the darkness. Treating the morning like something to be conquered. It did not stick. I would wake before the sun for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then the morning would take it back. My body would call me to rest, and I would answer, and the practice would collapse. Then I would feel like I had failed. Like I was not disciplined enough. Like the version of me who could wake early was stronger than me. It was not until much later that I understood. That version of me was not stronger. They were kinder. They had learned something I had not yet learned. That waking before the world wakes is not a punishment you inflict on yourself to become worthy. It is a kindness you offer yourself because you are already worthy, and you deserve one quiet hour that belongs only to you. There is a difference between those two things. The first one burns out. The second one sustains. Let me tell you what this hour is. It is the hour when nothing is expected of you. Not by your work. Not by the people in your house who will soon need things. Not by the world that is still sleeping and does not yet know you are awake. For a brief time, before you answer to anything, before you move in the direction of the day, you get to exist for yourself. That is not selfishness. That is refueling. There is something that happens in the hour before sunrise. The world is still in the hands of the night. But it is loosening its grip. The quality of the darkness changes. It becomes something other than night. Something other than day. It becomes waiting. And in that waiting, something in you can also rest. Because nobody is coming. Nothing is starting yet. You have, for just a little while, been granted a reprieve from being needed. I learned to value this hour not because of what I could do in it. I learned to value it because of what it does to me just to have it. When I wake in the dark and know I have chosen to be awake, that the body came conscious because I asked it to, something settles. The day ahead does not feel like something coming at me. It feels like something I am walking toward, slowly, with my eyes open. There is a difference that you can feel in your body. Let me talk about the practice itself, because I know that is what you are afraid of. You are afraid that I am going to tell you to set an alarm and wake at 5 in the morning every day forever, and that missing even one day will cause the whole thing to unravel. You are afraid of the rigor. You are afraid of failing at it. Listen to me carefully. The body does not learn a new rhythm overnight. It learns slowly. Over weeks. Over months. With many nights of forgetting and many mornings of sleeping through. And every single morning you sleep, the next day forgives you. If you cannot wake before sunrise tomorrow, you can try again the day after. If you cannot make this practice work for a week, you can rest. If you cannot make it work at all, if it turns out this is not the gift you need, there is no failure. There is only the choice to try something else. But if you do decide to try this, if you do decide to offer yourself this one quiet hour, start small. Not 5 in the morning. Not every day. Just the once. Just tomorrow, if the thought appeals to you. Wake maybe 30 minutes before you normally would. Let the body adjust to this new time, slowly, with patience for itself. Do not set an alarm that sounds like violence. Set something gentle. A voice. A chime. Something that wakes you the way morning wakes the birds. Gradually. Not all at once. And when you wake, you do not have to leap out of bed. You do not have to be productive. You can lie there for 10 minutes, just breathing. You can sit on the edge of the bed and let the body remember how to be upright. You can walk slowly to wherever it is you want to sit. A window. A chair. A step outside where the air is still cool. There is no rush. This is the heart of what I learned. When you stop treating waking as something you have to accomplish and start treating it as something you get to experience, everything changes. That first cup of tea or coffee. Tasting it slowly, not rushing it down. That first breath of air that does not yet smell like the day. It smells like something from the night. Something from before time started. That first sound. The bird. The distant traffic. The neighbor's dog. Or nothing at all. Just your own breathing and the sound of the house settling into morning. Your own heartbeat. This is what you are awake for. Not for the productivity. Not to get a head start on the day. Not to prove something about your character. But because for just a little while, the world is still yours alone. In that hour, you do not have to be anyone except yourself. You do not have to be ready. You do not have to have the answer. You do not have to be on. You can simply exist. In your body. In the quiet. In the light that is becoming. That is the gift. Now let me tell you about the mornings when you fail. Because there will be mornings when you fail. Mornings when the alarm goes off and you turn it off and go back to sleep. Mornings when you wake and every cell of your body says stay in bed and you listen to it. Mornings when you have slept badly and waking before sunrise does not seem like a gift, it seems like cruelty. On those mornings, I want you to know something. You have not broken the practice. The practice is not that fragile. The practice is not built on your willpower. It is built on your willingness to try again tomorrow. The body is not a machine. It is not always going to want to wake when you ask. Some mornings it has not slept enough. Some mornings it is fighting an illness. Some mornings the weight of the world is already on your chest and the last thing you need is to add waking early to the list of things you are failing at. On those mornings, the kindness is to rest. To roll over and sleep. To trust that tomorrow is coming, and tomorrow is a different morning. I learned this the hard way. I learned it by pushing through the mornings when I should have rested, and burning out, and then losing the whole practice because I had made it cruel. By the time I learned gentleness, I had spent months failing. I do not want that for you. I want you to know, from the start, that the practice is not built on perfection. It is built on the 1,000 small times you choose to try again. And something remarkable happens when you finally understand this. Because you are no longer fighting your body. You are no longer seeing sleep as the enemy. You are no longer performing wakefulness for an audience of your own judgment. You are simply, gently, asking your body, "Would you like to wake with me tomorrow?" And on the mornings when it says no, you listen. And on the mornings when it says yes, you discover what waiting in the dark can teach you. There is something holy in that hour. I do not know if you will call it holy. You might call it necessary. You might call it a break from the noise. You might call it your own time, finally, before the world starts. You might call it nothing at all and simply feel it without naming it. But there is something in waking when the world is still asleep that touches the part of you that remembers what it felt like to be young and small and not yet responsible for anything. There is a return to a kind of freedom. There is a taste of the way morning looked before it became something you had to do. I have spent years in that hour now. Not every morning. Not perfectly. But enough mornings that I can tell you something true. The stillness changes you. Not dramatically. Not in the way productivity promises to change you. But slowly. In the way water changes stone. Not by force but by the thousands of times it runs over it. Your shoulders drop a little lower. Your breathing deepens without you noticing. Your chest loosens where it has been held tight for months. You begin to move through the day less like you are pushing against a current and more like you are swimming with it. The people in your life may not notice. You may not notice at first. But the change is there. The morning knows it. The birds know it. Your body knows it. I want to say something about the quiet. In that hour, there is a quiet you have probably not heard since you were very young. The quiet of the world before it starts arguing with itself. The quiet of a place that does not yet know it will be filled with sound. In that quiet, you can hear yourself. Not your anxious thoughts. Not the voice that judges. But the deeper quiet underneath. The part of you that simply exists and knows it is allowed to exist. Most of us never hear that part. Most of us go through our whole lives in the noise of the day, and by the time we could hear ourselves in the evening, we are too tired to listen. But in the hour before sunrise, in that liminal time, in that waiting, you can hear it. You can sit with it. You can remember that it is there. Let me tell you what I do in that hour. On some mornings, I sit by the window and watch the world coming into being. The light changes maybe 500 times in those 60 minutes. Each change so subtle you would miss it if you were looking for drama. But if you are simply watching, if you are simply present, you can feel the world deciding to wake up. You can be part of that decision. On other mornings, I do not look outside at all. I sit in a chair and I place my hands on my own body. My knees. My chest. My heart. And I just feel it beating. I just feel myself existing. That is all. Sometimes I write. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I sit in the dark with my own thoughts and let them come and go like clouds. Sometimes I pray, if that is your word for it. Sometimes I just breathe. There is no wrong way to be in that hour. But let me tell you what happens to the rest of your day when you begin it this way. The person you are angry with does not hurt you quite as badly. The email that might have triggered hours of anxiety just sits there. The small failure does not cascade. Something in you has already been fed. Something in you knows, very quietly, that there is a part of your life that belongs only to you. That knowledge changes you. It is not dramatic, but it is real. The world is not going to become gentler just because you wake before it does. People will still be difficult. Things will still break. Plans will still change. But you will have had 1 hour that was yours. 1 hour that was not about fixing or achieving or proving anything. 1 hour where you were allowed to simply be. That is enough to change the way you hold the rest of the day. I want to say something to the people listening who cannot make this practice work. Maybe you have tried to wake before sunrise and it has never stuck. Maybe you have a body that does not work that way. Maybe you have responsibilities that do not allow for it. Maybe you have another reason entirely. I want you to know that this practice is not the only way. There are other hours. The hour after everyone has gone to bed. The hour in the middle of the night when you cannot sleep and instead of fighting it, you sit with it. The hour on a walk, before the shops are open. The hour in a parked car, before you go inside. Any hour where you have the world mostly to yourself. Any hour where you can stop being what everyone needs you to be, and just be what you are. That is the real practice. The sunrise is just a symbol. But if the sunrise does call to you, if there is something in you that has been waiting for permission to wake early, if there is a version of you who has always known what a quiet morning could offer, then that version is here now. In this room. In this chair. Waiting for you to try. They are smiling, very faintly. Not at you, exactly. At the fact of you being here. At the possibility of you learning what they have learned. At the quiet joy of an hour that belongs only to you. Before you leave the room tonight, there is one small thing. You may stand, slowly. Or you may stay seated. The self across from you stands as well. Or doesn't. Mirroring you. You face one another. They place a hand, gently, on your shoulder. It is warm. It does not ask anything of you. It simply rests there for a moment, the way a hand rests on the back of someone who is afraid, and needs to know they are not alone. Then they say, very quietly, tomorrow is waiting for you. Not demanding. Not requiring. Just waiting. You are allowed to be awake for it. The hand remains for one more breath. Then it lifts away. And in its place, warmth. A soft, settled warmth, the size of a coin or a small stone. That did not exist before they touched you, and will not leave when you wake. You may step back from them now. You may turn slowly. The door behind you is open. Walk through. Do not look back at the room. The room will be there tomorrow. The self will be there tomorrow. For tonight, you have done enough. The hallway opens around you. It is darker now than when you came in. That is correct. The hallway is making room for sleep. You may walk a few steps, and then stop walking. You may simply stand in the hallway. Or you may continue, and the hallway will gently dissolve around you. There is no wrong way to leave a council room. Wherever you find yourself now. Bed. Chair. Floor. The soft place between waking and sleeping. Stay there. The work is done. Tomorrow you may notice that something is different. The alarm may not feel quite so harsh. The morning may not feel quite so dark. You may not have changed at all, and that is all right too. The change happens slowly, if it happens at all. The self in the room is not seeking credit. Sleep is welcome here. You are rested. You are unhurried. You are the one who shows up. You are quiet. You are the morning.